absolutely freezing this morning. You don't mind if I just leave this right here? Don't actually want to see anything, do you? I've spent quite a while recently playing with a CNC machine, which has knocked me back a little bit on this build. I've not done a great deal for a few weeks, to be honest. The CNC machine is up and running. I think you saw part of it in the last week's video, and there will be more of it going forward, but if I'm not using it for anything specifically for a guitar build, then it won't feature in the videos for that guitar build. It'll have its own little series off on its own videos for whilst I'm trying to figure out how it works. So we need to get back to this. I've had a quick look over to see what needs doing and remind myself what I actually got done. And it looks like the main things I need to do are drill for tuner holes and fine tune and tweak the last few little bits of detailing before I start fine sanding for finish. Which I thought I was a bit further away than that, but apparently not. So the one thing that I really want to do is, with these blocks that I've got in the sides, I want to blend those in to these spaces a little bit more. This one I've already had a look to see what I can do, and if I use my small round file, I can blend these in quite nicely. I don't want to say perfectly, because there's no such thing. Which will only leave me this end here. But I think I have an idea for that as well. So what I need to do is clamp this up and start filing. Put it in here. Have you missed that noise? looks better, and it feels nicer as well. I've only roughed them in for now. I will smooth them out more, and obviously I'll probably round the inside edge of this ever so slightly when I finally sand the thing. But for now, that's a big improvement. There's no square edges left. I've also done this end around the end of the neck block as well, which on this side, because the jack socket's going to be recessed in here, I've just shaped it around the end of the jack plate. So it should all fit properly. Feels quite nice. So I've got my tuners here. I want to double check that they're going to be spaced out properly. So I'm going to just lay one of them over the hole that I've marked and another one next to it, just to make sure that all my points of attachment, so the tabs for the screws, don't interfere with the next tuner. So the buttons have got enough space, and I think that looks absolutely fine. They're quite widely spaced on this one. I don't want anything to be too close together. So the next thing to do is to measure the size of the hole that I'm going to need, which is 9mm. But these tuners are slightly different. They need a 9mm hole for the pattern that come through from the back, but the threaded ferrule is only, I want to say 7 maybe? 7.5. So ideally I don't want a 9mm hole all the way through. So drilling on the drill press would involve me wedging something underneath here to lift this above the edge of the table and holding this perfectly flat on whatever I've got it balanced on, which with a bolt-on neck wouldn't be so bad, but with this whole body hanging off it would be a bit of a nightmare. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a pilot hole in these two end, the E string holes, and then I'm going to remeasure where I've got everything along the back of the guitar. So I'm going to drill a 7.5mm hole from the top, part way through, and then I'm going to drill a 9mm hole from the back to meet where that 7.5mm hole is. I may do them the opposite way around, but it's usually better to drill the small hole first and then the big hole to meet it, because otherwise if you drill the big hole and then the small hole to meet it, you get tear out on the other side, on the inside of the bigger hole. It's inside the hole, so it doesn't always matter, but if you can avoid tear out, why not? So I'm going to put these away, and then I'm going to get some drill bits out. And a drill. So the one thing I forgot about doing tuner holes that way is that it needs to be done on a drill press with a depth stop, because if you drill the bigger hole to meet the smaller hole, as soon as you hit the smaller hole, there's not enough resistance to just drill slowly. The teeth on the drill bit bite into what's left of the wood and pull itself through. So you end up with a 9mm hole all the way through, which isn't an issue. It just means that the top ferrule that screws in will just be floating. But to be honest, the majority of guitars are done like that. The only reason to do a stepped hole with 2 different sizes is to be really neat and anal. Which I'm not going to be on this one. But we now have tuner holes drilled, which means I can check where my tuner's going to sit, and I can carry on my bevel all the way around the headstock and finish that off, which is nice.